Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1, 1961 at Park House Hotel in Sandringham, Norfolk, England. Her father was the Earl Spencer. She left school when she was 16 years old and moved to London when she was 18 years old. Born into the British nobility and grew up close to the royal family, living at Park House on their Sandringham estate. In 1981, while working as a nursery teacher's assistant, she became engaged to Charles, the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II. In 1981, Diana married Prince Charles at St. Paul's Cathedral. Their engagement became official on February 24, 1981. Diana was the first Englishwoman to marry the first in line to the throne since, and Hyde married James, the Duke of York and Albany, later James VII and II, in the 1680s, and she was also the first royal bride to have a paying job before her engagement. Diana and Charles had two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Throughout her life, Diana was something of a rebel. Her work with victims of AIDS could, in some ways, be seen in this regard. She was one of the first very high-profile people to be pictured touching those afflicted with AIDS, and this had a significant impact in changing people's opinions and attitudes to the disease. It was certainly a charity not following the protocol and tradition of the royal family. HIV does not make people dangerous to know. You can shake their hands and hug them. Heaven knows they need it. Diana had a very personable touch. She was very at ease in meeting people from any background, and even if they were ill or in hospices. To Diana's disappointment, the Queen did not support this type of charity work, suggesting she get involved in something more pleasant. In July 1989, she opened Landmark AIDS Center in South London. In October 1990, Diana opened Grandma's House, a home for young AIDS patients in Washington, D.C. In March 1997, Diana visited South Africa, where she met with Nelson Mandela. On November 2, 2002, Mandela announced that the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund would be teaming up with Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund to help people with AIDS. They had planned the combination of the two charities a few months before her death. Mandela later praised Diana for her efforts surrounding the issue of HIV/AIDS, when she stroked the limbs of someone with leprosy or sat on the bed of a man with HIV/AIDS and held his hand. She transformed public attitudes and improved the life chances of such people. Diana had used her celebrity status to fight stigma attached to people living with HIV/AIDS, Mandela said. Diana became Princess of Wales at age 20 when she married Charles, then 32, on July 29, 1981. The wedding was held at St. Paul's Cathedral, which offered more seating than Westminster Abbey, a church that was generally used for royal weddings. The service was widely described as a fairy tale wedding. At the altar, Diana inadvertently reversed the order of his first two names, saying Philip Charles Arthur George instead. She additionally did not say she would obey him. The traditional vow was left out at the couple's request, which caused some comment at the time. The couple had residences at Kensington Palace and Highgrove House, near Tetbury. On November 5, 1981, Diana's pregnancy was announced. In January 1982, 12 weeks into the pregnancy, Diana fell down a staircase at Sandringham, suffering some bruising, and the royal gynecologist George Pinker was summoned from London. The fetus was uninjured. Diana later confessed that she had intentionally thrown herself down the stairs because she was feeling so inadequate. On June 21, 1982, she gave birth to the couple's first son, Prince William. She subsequently suffered from postpartum depression after her first pregnancy. A second son, Harry, was born on September 15, 1984. Diana said she and Charles were closest during her pregnancy with Harry. She was aware their second child was a boy, but did not share the knowledge with anyone else, including Charles, who hoped for a girl. "5 years into the marriage, the couple's incompatibility and age difference became visible and damaging. By 1987, the cracks in the marriage had become visible, and the couple's unhappiness and cold attitude towards one another, were being reported by the press, who dubbed them as the Glums because of their evident discomfort in each other's company. In 1989, Diana was at a birthday party for Parker Bowles' sister, Annabelle Elliott, when she confronted Parker Bowles about her and Charles's extramarital affair. The book, which also revealed Diana's allegedly suicidal unhappiness, caused a media storm. In 1991, James Colfast conducted secret interviews with Diana in which she had talked about her marital issues and difficulties. These recordings were later used as a source for Morton's book. The Queen and Prince Philip hosted a meeting between Charles and Diana and unsuccessfully tried to reconcile the couple. Philip wrote to Diana and expressed his disappointment at the extramarital affairs of both her and Charles. He asked her to examine their behaviors from the other's point of view. Diana reportedly found the letters difficult, but appreciated that he was acting with good intent. It was alleged by some people, including Diana's close friend Simone Simmons, that Diana and Philip had a tense relationship. However, other observers said their letters showed no sign of friction between them. Philip later issued a statement, publicly denying allegations that he insulting Diana. During 1992 and 1993, leaked tapes of telephone conversations reflected negatively on both Charles and Diana. Tape recordings of Diana and James Gilby were made public in August 1992, and transcripts were published the same month in what became known as Squidgygate. In December 1992, Prime Minister John Major announced to the House of Commons that the couple had decided to amicably separate, noting that there is no reason why the Princess of Wales should not be crowned Queen in due course. Early the following year, the leaked Tampongate tapes, which included intimate exchanges between Charles and Parker Bowles, were published in the tabloids. Between 1992 and 1993, Diana hired a voice coach, Peter Settlein, to help her develop her public speaking voice. In a videotape recorded by Settlein in 1992, Diana said that from 1984 to 1986, she had been deeply in love with someone who worked in this environment. It is thought she was referring to Barry Manicky, who was transferred to the Diplomatic Protection Squad in 1986 after his managers had determined that his relationship with Diana had been inappropriate. Although she blamed Parker Bowles for her marital troubles, Diana began to believe her husband had been involved in other affairs. In October 1993, Diana wrote to her butler Paul Burrell, telling him that she believed her husband was now in love with his personal assistant Tiggy Legberg, who was also his son's former nanny, and was planning to have her killed to make the path clear for him to marry Tiggy. Legberg had been hired by Charles as a young companion for his sons while they were in his care, and Diana was resentful of Legberg and her relationship with the young princes. The journalist Martin Bashir interviewed Diana for the BBC current affairs show Panorama. The interview was broadcast on November 20, 1995. Diana discussed her own and her husband's extramarital affairs. Referring to Charles's relationship with Parker Bowles, she said, "Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." She also expressed doubt about her husband's suitability for kingship. The authors Tina Brown, Sally Bedell Smith, and Sarah Bradford support Diana's admission in the interview that she had suffered from depression, bulimia, and had engaged numerous times in the act of self-harm. The show's transcript records Diana confirming many of her mental health problems. The interview proved to be the tipping point. On December 20, Buckingham Palace announced that the Queen had sent letters to Charles and Diana, advising them to divorce. Charles formally agreed to the divorce in a written statement soon after. In February 1996, Diana announced her agreement after negotiations with Charles and representatives of the Queen, irritating Buckingham Palace by issuing her own announcement of the divorce agreement and its terms. She received a lump sum settlement of £17 million, equivalent to £34 million in 2025, as well as £400,000 per year. The couple signed a confidentiality agreement that prohibited them from discussing the details of the divorce or of their married life. The Queen reportedly wanted to let Diana continue to use the style of Royal Highness after her divorce, but Charles had insisted on removing it. Prince William was reported to have reassured his mother, "Don't worry, Mummy. I will give it back to you one day, when I am king." Almost a year before, according to Tina Brown, Philip had warned Diana, "If you don't behave, my girl, we'll take your title away." She is said to have replied, "My title is a lot older than yours, Philip." After her divorce, Diana retained the double apartment on the north side of Kensington Palace that she had shared with Charles since the first year of their marriage. The apartment remained her home until her death the following year. She also moved her offices to Kensington Palace but was permitted to use the state apartments at St. James's Palace. Diana was also given an allowance to run her private office, which was responsible for her charity work and royal duties, but from September 1996 onwards she was required to pay her bills and any expenditure incurred by her or on her behalf. Furthermore, she continued to have access to the jewelry that she had received during her marriage, and was allowed to use the air transport of the British royal family and government. Within a month, Diana began a relationship with Dodi Fayed, the son of her summer host, Mohammed Al Fayed. That summer, Diana had considered taking her sons on a holiday to the Hamptons on Long Island, New York, but security officials had prevented it. After deciding against a trip to Thailand, she accepted Fayed's invitation to join his family in the south of France, where his compound and large security detail would not cause concern to the Royal Protection Squad. Diana died on August 31, 1997, aged 36, as a result of injuries sustained in a car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, while her driver was fleeing the paparazzi. She was taken to Piti-Salpêtrière Hospital around 2 a.m. and was pronounced dead at approximately 4 a.m. The crash also claimed the lives of her companion Dodi Fayed and their driver, Henri Paul, who was also acting security manager of the Hotel Ritz Paris. Conspiracy theories about the death of Diana. The initial French judicial investigation concluded that the crash was caused by Paul's intoxication, reckless driving, speeding, and effects of prescription drugs. In February 1998, Mohammed Al Fayed, father of Dodi Fayed, publicly said the crash, which killed his son, had been planned, and accused MI6 and the Duke of Edinburgh. In 2003, Diana's butler Paul Burrell published a note that he claimed had been written by Diana in 1995, in which there were allegations that Charles was planning an accident in Diana's car, brake failure, and serious head injury so that he could remarry. Following her death, Diana left a £21 million estate, netting £17 million after estate taxes, which were left in the hands of trustees, her mother, and her sister Sarah. The will was signed in June 1993, but Diana had it modified in February 1996 to remove the name of her personal secretary from the list of trustees and have Sarah replace him. In 1999, after the submission of a Freedom of Information request by the internet news service apbonline.com, it was revealed that Diana had been placed under surveillance by the National Security Agency until her death, and the organization kept a top-secret file on her containing more than 1,000 pages. Diana was born with the style of the Honourable Diana Frances Spencer. When her father inherited the Earldom of Spencer in 1975, she became entitled to the style of Lady Diana Spencer. After her divorce in 1996 and until her death, she was known as Diana, Princess of Wales, without the style of Her Royal Highness. Though popularly referred to as Princess Diana, that style is incorrect and one she never held officially. She is still sometimes referred to in the media as Lady Diana Spencer or colloquially as Lady Di. In a speech after her death, Tony Blair referred to Diana as the People's Princess. Discussions were also held with the Spencer family and the British royal family as to whether Diana's HRH style needed to be restored posthumously, but Diana's family decided that it would be against her wishes and, thus, no formal offer was made.